Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Candy Valentino Show. Thanks for tuning in and spending this time with me today as we pick up part 2 of the sniper strategies. And if you did not hear part 1, go back to just last week when we dropped the sniper strategies 1 through 4. We're going to pick them back up and I'm going to give you the next 3. Just to recap what we covered, we talked all about the entrepreneurial triggers, which is exactly why people get into business. We talk about the importance of business finance, as well as understanding numbers and financials. And then we go right into the strategies of how to achieve profitable growth. We talk about the fundamentals of a customer acquisition strategy, how to understand your audience, how to craft your unique value prop, website optimization, A/B testing, the power of testimonials and reviews, and one of my favorite things, expense optimization and expense reduction, as well as all of the strategies on how to do that. So today we're going to pick it back up with the sniper strategies. This is number 5. So again, if you didn't hear part 1, go check that out. This is part 2. So jumping right into it, number 5 is letting go of bad customers. And in the words of Elsa, anyone that has seen the Disney movie Frozen knows, let it go, let it go, let it go. I don't care what they're going to say. Elsa had to learn and adopt the concept of letting go, and very much rings true for entrepreneurs in the realm of business and especially finance. To create more profit, you also have to let go, and specifically meaning letting go of anything that drains the profit out of your business. Because if your business goes unchecked, it will become a revenue-eating machine. To create the wealth-generating machine that you deserve and to have that edge to sustain success, really assessing your client profitability is one of the crucial steps that you can take towards sustainable growth. So letting go of customers who drain your profit is step 1. I suggest that you look at the 20% of customers who fit this category, and I'll explain why 20%. But what this is going to do is it's going to achieve a few things at one time, so you're stacking it. First, it's going to free up space that allows your business to serve other customers and sell other products that don't drain the profit out of your business. And second, it increases your bandwidth to identify new customer segments, to identify new customers to work with. It gives you the ability to allocate resources into other areas so that you can get a rate of return that's even more significant. And it increases your overall profit margin, which is going to translate to your net profit, your bottom line, and most likely your pocket. So it's important to remember that while a sale or a customer or a product or a service in your business may contribute to top line revenue and provide sales, those sales don't always correlate to profit. When you see an increase in profit and a decrease in your overall stress, just imagine what you can accomplish. There are not lines on our P&Ls with expenses like, constant unhappy customer or complainer who is never satisfied or never pays their bill or always rude to my team. There is an expense to that. And although it doesn't show up on your financials, it is still draining profitability and bandwidth out of your business. Now, I know it can be terrifying to drop clients, customer segments, verticals of products. I've done it and I know it. I've done it more times than I can count in multiple businesses. And at first it does seem to be beyond scary. But after you have the data to support and the experience to understand why this works, you will realize that this is a really necessary step of business growth. Identifying those clients or products or offers that contribute significantly to the bottom line will help you optimize your resource allocations and give you the ability to make better decisions so that when you look at your profit or your cash flow or the overall impact on your financial health, you'll understand it better. And look, it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal against the product or the service or even the client. It's just math. And by freeing up that space that's tied to unprofitable or resource draining clients, you can focus on acquiring and retaining more profitable ones. And this is going to obviously help you become more efficient and further optimize your profitable growth. And it's going to uncover probably some money that's been hiding in your business. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, because it's typically a hard conversation to have if you've never done it before, letting go of these clients or these products or these offers that are not providing sufficient returns is really essential to you protecting your profitability and ensuring your long-term viability. And then here's the beautiful part. Now that we've let go of that bottom 20%, let's go find 20% more of your best customers. And that brings us to the next sniper strategy, number 6, and that's duplicate your top customers. When I looked at billion-dollar companies for the research of the 9% edge, I really was able to identify what efforts were generating the greatest results. Like, they all had this concept of doing more with less. And it's really a great way that we can all use to uncover the profit that's hiding in our businesses. Large corporations, ultra successful entrepreneurs and companies have no problem cutting products and services and clients that aren't contributing to their bottom line because they know there's only so much, quote, shelf space, right? We know this from Walmart and all the big box stores that if you are not selling, if you are a consumer packaged good or you have another type of product and you are not creating sales for that retailer, you will be cut. Successful businesses are always looking to see what they can cut to maximize cash flow and profitability because they know that that is the only path to sustainability. And this all goes back to the Pareto principle, often referred to as the 80-20. I researched Vito Pareto, who is an Italian economist for my book, The 9% Edge. He was the first person on record that ever talked about this. That's why it's named after him. And he observed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the population. And as an economist, he was saying, can I take this same pattern and apply it in other areas of life, such as business and economics and personal finance? And obviously we know the answer to it because now here, all of these years later, it is still something that we use in multiple areas of life. But in case you have not heard it before, I have talked about it on the show before, and I think it was even in my first book. The Pareto principle states that 80% of the effects are going to come from 20% of the causes. In more plain English, 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. Which means that if you focus on that 20% that generates the most results, you can achieve a lot more with a lot less effort. Amazon used this specific 80-20 rule to optimize their product offerings. They focused on the items that generated the most revenue. They also used this principle to prioritize their customer service efforts, focusing on the 20% of customers who generate 80% of their revenue. Another example who did this was Google. They used this rule to identify the 20% of their employees who generate 80% of their innovation and productivity. Now, while we see that this has massive benefits, the 80-20 rule, we obviously also know that we shouldn't completely ignore the other 80%. There may be opportunities outside that 20% that can generate significant results, but as busy entrepreneurs, we only have so much time and so much focus. So it is always important to stay mindful and understand where you're spending your time, where you're putting your focus, and how you're spending your energy. The best way to use the 80-20 rule is really as a guidepost, not like a strict rule. So instead of focusing exclusively on the 20% that generates the most results, aim to spend 80% of your time and energy on 20% of those tasks. This means that you're still leaving yourself some room and openness to new opportunities. But I'll tell you what, guys, this principle I have used successfully in the business world for decades, literally over 25 years. And I know endless entrepreneurs that have applied this also to streamline their operations and achieve greater efficiency and profitability. So I'm going to break down very quickly the how-to of this. You first need to find your best customers. This is how you're going to uncover some more profit that may be lurking in your business. So whether you log into your POS or CRM or e-commerce platform, whatever keeps your sales and customer data, you want to look at the reports of your customers, your purchases, your interactions, and utilize your system's segmentation tools to categorize customers by their spend, their frequency of purchases, even their level of engagement, depending on what your system allows you to do. Then you're going to focus on those top segments and analyze them and see where's the common characteristics. Is it a demographic? Is it a purchasing behavior? Is it a specific product? Or is it how they originally find your business? And then based on those findings, you draft a profile of your ideal customer archetype. You can include their age range or interest or purchasing habits or preferred communication channel, whatever it may be. This is just for you to identify the data, analyze the data, and determine who your best customers are based on the metrics that you identify. It could be sales revenue. It could be a specific product that you know is profitable. It could be a certain maybe average order size if you are e-commerce. It could be buying frequency. It depends specifically on your business. But the key is to find your best customers. And while you're doing this, find your best products. Find your most profitable offerings, whether it's a service or a product. I did this early in my 20s. I don't even know where I originally heard of it. I don't know if it was a Ritz-Carlton training or not. I did a lot of that in my early 20s, but that was all customer service based. So I don't think I picked this up there, but I do remember doing it. I think a lot of my clients have heard me tell this story, and I think I've told it from stage before. When I first did this, I realized that these body treatments that we had on our menu were like super high, it was supposed to elevate the brand, and they were super pricey, and it was like this luxurious treatment, right? And it was like we were making $4 on the service. And I remember thinking wait, what? We're doing all of this work to market this product and expand our offerings and to create this new customer segment and to be able to upsell them to all of our existing customers, and we're making $4 profit. That was only if the staff actually measured out all of the stuff the same way and didn't overuse products. So I was like, get rid of these things, cut these off the menu, and let's go back to what we know actually has 20 and 25% and up profit margins, because it doesn't make sense to deploy that effort on something that you're getting such a low single-digit return on. So once you find your best customers, your best products, your most profitable offerings, we need to figure out how to go find more of them. And this is, if it's a customer or a product, you're kind of doing it the same way, but you want to analyze the behaviors, the characteristics, that customer type in detail, and focus on what makes them those best customers or that best product or that best service. And then research where you can find more of these customers. Do they spend their time online or offline? Do you need to look for forums, a trade show, a social media group? Are they finding you by Google and a website? Is it your physical location that they frequent? And then once you identify that, the next step would be looking at what marketing channel. If it is a social media group, or is it an email? Was it a direct mail piece? If you're home services, look at the most effective way that you're reaching this customer group based on their preferences and their behaviors. And then next would be to craft specific messages that resonates with that person. If we want to go out and get more people like it, we want to talk to them just as we're talking to them and not casting a wide net, right? This is the blue ocean strategy, basically, as opposed to going out with a machine gun, like I talked about last week. You're looking at a sniper rifle. It's a lot easier to go with a specific message than it is to cast a wide net and try to service the entire globe. When you do this, you can also use targeted advertising on those platforms where your customers are and where they're most active. And if this isn't social media for you, this may be hitting them with direct mail a couple times. This might be in your local community group. This could be going to trade shows, BNI groups, Chamber of Commerce, right? There's all different ways that wherever you find your customer to be, you can double down on your efforts to find more of them. It could be partnering with other businesses that have a customer segment that is just like you, and you can cross-promote your services without having to identify new customers and having the expense of acquiring more. It could also be encouraging referrals from those best customers and developing a strategy around this to offer incentives in order for them to refer people just like them. And of course, regular reviews of this data and adjusting your marketing strategies based on the engagement from your prospects will ensure that you are effectively attracting more of your best customers. So when you think of your best customers, does someone come to mind? When you think about which customers you would love to just have 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 more just like them, the ones that are great people who you really enjoy working with, that love you and your team and rave about your products and services, who comes to mind? Regardless of your industry and what kind of customers you have, if you were able to replace the 20% of your worst performing customers with the 20% more of your best performing customers, just imagine outside of profitable growth. Imagine how much happier you would be. Imagine how happier your team would be, how clear your marketing process would be. So I'm going to recap it because it's super important. And I'm going to simplify it. 1, collect the data. 2, determine the data. Basically determine which metrics are important to you to evaluate your customer performance. 3, analyze that data. 4, rank those customers. Find out top 20%, bottom 20%. Also look at your products and services, top 20%, bottom 20%. And then last, systematize that data. If you don't have software that provides this information for you, create the reports and summarize these findings. I promise you it will be worth it. In a world that is trying to distract you with shiny objects and trying to get you to learn the latest this and the latest that, I promise you by taking 2 or 4 hours, half a day, a whole day, whatever it takes you, by doing this, the insights that you get will be invaluable to your business. Once you know who your best customers are based on the data, and then you determine where to go get more of them, you will be like a sniper, getting more growth, more profitably, more quickly. And this brings us to number 7. And I'm going to call it create your blueprint. Now, it's really common for entrepreneurs to be growing their business, increasing sales, acquiring new customers without realizing that inefficient spending and poor financial management will erode your profits as easily as lack of revenue. It's literally this insanity that I see people do where they're trying to fill up a bucket that has a gaping hole in the bottom. No matter how much water you pull in, you will never fill it up if the leaks aren't identified and patched first. Understanding this principle is key. And it does require a shift in mindset from, like I shared, solely chasing that top line growth to adopting a better approach to business finance by being proactive, by understanding expense optimization. Those are the things that can really plug those leaks in that financial bucket and ensure that every dollar that is spent out of your business and comes into your business will contribute to your bottom line. And effective financial management, I know, 3 boring words to most entrepreneurs, but if you can change the way that you see numbers in your business, and if you can flip the script and just realize that this is the one thing that stands between you and your freedom. This is the one thing that stands between you and your goals. This is the one thing that stands between you and generational wealth. When you realize that this is the one thing, I promise you, you will turn into a heat-seeking missile that is charging towards your goals just like I did so many years ago. Managing your finances isn't just about cutting costs arbitrarily. It's about making strategic decisions that align with your goals. So how can you spot profit leaks and plug them? Well, there are 3 not so sexy things to you. They're quite sexy to me that you need to put in place if you don't already have them. Number 1, budget. Number 2, financial forecast. Oh my gosh, it's like the best thing in the world. And number 3, expense allocations. By doing this, you will stack the odds in your favor and ensure long-term success. Because here's the thing, business finance is really simple. The more money you make, the less you spend, the greater your spread. And the greater your spread, you can invest more money and create that wealth generating machine that practically prints money so you don't constantly have to trade time for it. And if that's not sexy, I don't know what is. But look, I'm not here to motivate you. Motivation isn't going to change your business or your finances. And quite frankly, just hearing this idea of taking responsibility for your financial health isn't going to change it either. What's going to change it and what's going to create a whole new level of profitable growth is the implementation and execution of it. That and that alone will result in a whole new level of growth, and not just for your business, but for you as an entrepreneur. So let's get into these 3 things really quickly. And then at the end, I'm going to share something that I want you to hear before we wrap. Okay, first things first, financial budgeting. All this is just tells your business, it's a little roadmap for your financial performance. That's it. It helps setting goals. It helps allocating resources. It helps you manage risks. It helps you make informed decisions like, can I afford to go to that event? Can I afford to hire that person? Can I afford to spend money here in my marketing? This enables you to monitor your performance. And really, without one, you are running the risk every single month of overextending yourselves and being unprepared for market shifts or a revenue downturn. Overall, it is essential for guiding data-driven decisions and making and ensuring the long-term financial health of your business. Real quickly, 4 quick steps to a budget. Align. Match your budget with your goals. Allocate. strategically distribute the funds, adjust, adapt your budget to changing conditions, and actual review and adjust based on performance. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of budgeting because it can be a whole solo on its own, but I wanted to at least touch on these 3 things. Budget, financial forecast, which I'm going to tell you really short what it's about. This is just going to predict how your business is going to perform financially over a certain period of time. It's like looking into a crystal ball. Well, maybe not that magical, but you get the idea, where you can see where your business is heading. Financial forecasting are literally one of my favorite things because it is a critical tool for anticipating future financial performance and make informed decisions today. Imagine you're driving a car and not knowing where you're going to go. You might end up lost. So in business, a financial forecast helps you avoid that feeling of being lost. So if you ever feel lost in your decision making in your business, I would highly bet that you don't have a budget, you don't have a financial forecast, and you probably don't have expense allocations. These are like a big pizza. It's basically a way of divvying up your business expenses to different categories or departments. Just like when you split pizza among friends, you kind of know who's going to take more than one slice, right? So expense allocations help you understand where your money is going, how it is being used, and making sure that you understand how to optimize your services. Expense allocations help you understand where your money is going and how it can be used in the business. It helps you understand true cost of your products and services, and also helps you optimize your pricing structure or any additional strategies. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds with all of this because there is a lot on each of these. So if you're currently working with a fractional CFO, if you have an in-house accountant or controller, and depending on who you're using for your accountant or your bookkeeper, this may be something that they can help you with. If you do not have the right people on your profit team and you need support, you can reach out to me directly. If you're doing over $3 million in revenue or you have at least $1 million in liquid assets, you can reach out to us for the fractional CFO services. And if you're under that amount, we actually have great resources and preferred partners that we can recommend to you. People that I know personally, people that have been vetted, that are great in the areas of finance. Because you do not need to learn everything. You're already wearing all of the hats in your business. I always want to give you as much information as possible so that you can start to learn and understand business finance, because like I always say, nobody is going to care about your bottom line more than you. However, there are some really great people with fiduciary level care that will care about your money as much as they care about their own. Those are the partners that I have partnered up with. So even if you don't fit above that category to work with me and my team, we do have people that I can recommend for you to work with. You can go to candyvalentino.com/advisory. Again, that's candyvalentino.com/advisory for more info. But to wrap up these 7 sniper strategies, part 1 was last week, part 2 was today. Just remember that growth and scale are not one and the same. Focusing on just increasing your sales without first implementing the steps that I outlined in this episode and the last is dangerous, because it will likely create more inefficiencies and greater expenses, which will further erode your bottom line. When you pause to optimize your costs, trim the fat on your expenses, let go of profit-draining customers, products, and offers, duplicate your top performing customers, and create the financial blueprint that includes budgeting and forecasting and allocations, you will have created the perfect storm to uncover more profit that is probably already hiding in your business, which will therefore increase your overall profitability, bottom line, and the money that goes in your pocket. I don't know who doesn't want that. I know I sure do. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending this time with me today. We'll see you next time.